Hey everybody, Douglas Blair Roberts here, the Super Vader 400, Mr. the Fanboy, and of course the brown skin human, coming back at you with another video. And this time, this is my late and out of date review of TNA Old School, which aired right after last night's the March 31st episode of Impact Wrestling. This 60-minute themed episode focused on the original the TNA originals such as Kid Cash, Johnny Swinger, Rhino, Manic, the Suicide character, Hernandez, and Chase Stevens again, if I didn't mention him all. And of course Rhino, if I didn't mention them already. They mostly focused on these guys. This was a pretty good show. As you can see by the title, this is also a rant because it was only 60 minutes. I wish they were given 20 to 30 more minutes. I know they couldn't get another hour because the rerun, the encore presentation of Impact Wrestling had to happen. But this was a pretty good old school edition of Impact Wrestling. It felt like Impact Wrestling from 2006 to 14, yeah, from 2006 to 14 and 11, the old school Impact Wrestling before Don Callis and Scott D'Amore and Jeff Jarrett regained control of Impact Wrestling. And all the matches for the most part were good. I really can't wait until this Friday with the TNA Goes Old School show where we'll see a bunch of other exciting matches I'm going to talk about at the end. Let's talk about this show. We first started off with Hernandez defeating Chase Stevens in a pretty good television match. It didn't go as long as I wanted it to, but it was still a pretty good match. I wanted Chase Stevens to win, but Hernandez won with the border toss. With the crucifix power bomb. Next was Manic and Suicide defeated the team of Swinger and Kid Cash in a pretty good TV X Division cruiserweight wrestling style match. Match. I was rooting for Kid Cash, but I wanted Manic and Suicide's team to win. Even though I was mostly happy just to see Kid Cash back again. Then main event had Rhino defeating Madman Fulton in a pretty good TV House of Fun match. Ravens so-called invented match where OVE got involved and so did Raven, who hit everybody, including his best friend and former rival Tommy Dreamer with a kendo stick, hyping their big match this Friday. So like I said, an awesome edition of old school TNA Impact. They even had the old school intro from 2010 and 11, and highlights of the various wrestlers such as the Ultimate X, the X Division, the Knockouts, the Past Stars, and even cameos from Ace Austin. Dave Pencer was the ring announcer and was the regular announcer with Scott D'Amore. Scott Steiner had hosted his own segment called Scott Steiner Uncensored, where he talked about how he is not PC and he is not PC or culturally acceptable, something like that. And then Joey Ryan with his brand new gimmick came out and tried to tell Big Papa Pump that Big Papa Pump for several years he has been embarrassing and he has not been PC, and then now he can make up for it by, instead of calling himself Big Papa Pump, you can call yourself Big Popper. You can call yourself Big Proper Pump. And Scott Steiner beat the living daylights out of him and sent him flying, and Scott Steiner said him and the entire PC culture can kiss his butt. And then yeah, so that was everything on the old school edition of Impact Wrestling. Now for the on camera portion, I'm gonna make my grand entrance and review the matches. This is also part of a brand new video style where I just go through all the matches, where I just go through all the matches, results and segments, then on camera give you my review of each match to save disk space on my hard drive and to get videos out quicker. So with that being said, let me get started right now. Even though some of my old videos that I recorded and never finished recording, they will still be the same old format with the review and the match reviews second in a separate video. So with that being said, let's get started. I wish I could go faster, and we can do whatever we want if we put our minds to it. Yeah, the first match was Chase Stevens and Hernandez. Like I said in part one, this was an awesome match and my number one favorite match of the night. So happy to see both of these wrestlers back in Impact Wrestling in 2020. And the match immediately started off with Chase Stevens kicking Hernandez and kicking Hernandez and trying a punch kick combo, but Hernandez blocks it and gives him a headbutt, and immediately grabs him up for the border toss to crucifix sit down power bomb early, but Chase Stevens managed to reverse it, then kick Hernandez in the gut and does the punch kick combo, and then this time gives Hernandez, in one of the most memorable parts of the match, gives Hernandez a powerful German suplex. Then the match continues. Hernandez later gains the advantage and later successfully hits the border toss for the 1, 2, 3. Like I said, I wanted Chase Stevens to win. Next was Kid Cash and Johnny Swinger versus Mannequin Suicide. This was a pretty awesome X Division match. This was my next favorite match of the night. Nothing was really memorable here, but Kid Cash looked great, performed great, and so did Swinger. And was so happy to see Kid Cash not only back in Impact Wrestling, but seeing T.J. Perkins with, up until recently, T.J. Perkins' best gimmick was a Manic. Seeing him wear the Manic costume and mask again, and Suicide character really don't like. I only like Manic's version of Suicide, Manic and Perkins' version of Suicide. Problem I've always had with Suicide was that it was an awesome character and gimmick, but I didn't like the wrestlers who were I didn't like the wrestlers who were forced to wear it. Pretty much Daniels and Kazarian. They already had characters and gimmicks. You give the Suicide character to a guy who doesn't have a gimmick, which T.J. Perkins at the time did not have a gimmick. Did not have a gimmick. So yeah, but he Suicide Squad, something Suicide. He looked great in this match. Him and Manic did a lot of cool cross body and maneuvers, high risk maneuvers, and the match ended in spectacular fashion with Suicide hitting a swanton bomb onto Kid Cash for the 1, 2, 3. Then the main event was Rhino defeating Fulton in an awesome main event. Whenever I watch a Rhino match, I watch for 4 to 5 moves. The signature punches he does, the clothesline, followed by the time, then the signature belly to belly suplex he does, the belly suplex he does, then finally get up and get ready for one of the best spears in the business, the gore to the roar of the crowd, followed by the taunt again, and then he pins him for the 1, 2, 3. Except he didn't pin him here. Jake and Dave Christ, OVE, got involved in this match, and Raven came out and started delivering kendo sticks to everyone, and then he even delivered a kendo stick to his old rival Rhino before leaving. While the fight continued, OVE kept beating up Dreamer. Rhino tried to come to his aid, but numbers got too big, and Manic and Suicide came to the aid of Tommy Dreamer. So, like I said in part one, an awesome edition of old school Impact Wrestling. I wish they were given 20 to 30 more minutes, so some of these matches that I felt that were too short, especially the opener, could have went longer. But this, like I said, was a good episode of old school Impact. It felt like the impacts from 2006, 11, and 14. Those impacts before Don Callis and Scott D'Amore and Jeff Jarrett took over, and Anthem Sports took over. So with that being said, I'm finished for now. If you don't want to hear the rest of the music, turn the video off right now.